What are the odds that this little soccer player from the Leon Valley Wings would turn into this imposing NFL star? And what are the odds that two John Marshall Rams would each play 10 plus years in the NFL and both end up in the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame? It was Priest Holmes who led Marshall to the state championship game in 1991, but it was Ndukwe Kalu who got them there. His 87-yard fumble return in the Astrodome in the state semifinals against Aldine delivered on the promise that he saw even before his junior season ever started.
I'll never forget, I was talking to a cheerleader, and we were talking about the upcoming season. I said, we're going to state this year. And she was like, oh, that's funny, that's cute. And I was like, no, like, there's something in my bones that I just knew we were going to state that year.
Soon, everyone knew who Ndukwe Kalu was, a one-of-a-kind athlete.
Everybody was talking about Indy on how he can jump, like he went to state in the high jump. He jumped 7 feet, and how much a good athlete he was and how big he was. And then when I actually started training him, I was like, man, this kid is a freak. And to see how big he was and the way he moved and how explosive he was, it was crazy. I've never seen anything like that.
The college recruiters lined up from Michigan and Miami to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Florida State. But Rice University in Houston had a big advantage.
My parents, again, they're both educators, and it's all about academics for them. When my parents heard about Rice, they didn't even care about the programs from the big time programs. They were just like, nope, you gotta get that education from Rice.
Dr. Kalu said, I have some questions for you. All his questions turned out to be academic. He didn't ask one question about football. And he said, the process is over with. He said, I don't want to accept any more phone calls from any of these other schools. It's decided, Indy, you're going to Rice University.
My dad broke it down to me, and this is a guy who grew up in Nigeria. He was educated in London, so wasn't his forte, talking about high school, college football. But he said, look, if you go to Rice, you're playing against Texas A&M every year, University of Texas, Texas Tech. If you're good enough, they're going to find you. And I was like, well, he's right.
The thing that caught me was how much ND respected this. It was not a one-way thing. ND's respect for his father and his mother showed through all of this, and that's the way it went.
ND flourished at Rice, was all conference, was the player of the game when they upset Texas, and left as their all-time sacks leader. From there, it was on to an NFL career,
into the end zone for the touchdown,
where his old high school teammate was also running wild. A friendly rivalry that pushed both to new heights.
They always competed, and that's what we always did, was compete every day.
When he would do something great, I'd be like, okay, I need to do something great. I'm not gonna let him outshine me, but it was always that, I don't know if it's a rivalry, because at one point, he was the best running back in the NFL. That's when I was like, okay, you got me. But it kind of gave me something to chase after.
Kalu played 12 years in the NFL, his best with the Philadelphia Eagles, and his last back home in Texas.
Just being able to have my family, my friends from San Antonio driving up to the games, being able to play my last 3 years in Houston, for me, you couldn't have written a better ending to that story.
Kalu remains a fixture in Houston. He's built a real estate empire. He's prominent on radio and television, but San Antonio still very close to his heart.
I'm so proud when I'm sitting at home in Houston and I'm watching the NBA, watching the NFL, and you'll see a guy, he's from San Antonio, Texas. I'm like, yeah, that's my guy. Even though I don't know him, that's my guy. So I just felt like I always carried San Antonio with me because I have so many fond memories. After 12 years in the NFL, 4 years of college, when I reminisce and think about my fondest memories, is playing football in San Antonio.
Yes, from the Leon Valley Wings to the San Antonio Sports Hall of Fame. Ndukwe Kalu, welcome to the class of 2022.